a special about the protests that are happening this weekend around ticket prices. I've got Gareth Roberts and I've got Nick Clarke to talk about it. Nick's come from Manchester, supports Manchester City. But I'll go to Gareth first. You all know Gareth. But I also want to introduce and get Gareth to introduce exactly why this protest is so significant across the 4 Northwest clubs, the 4 giants of English football. Gareth, I've said that many a time, all the football that matters in this country happens in the Northwest of England. This protest is happening in the Northwest of England, and why does it matter?
Exactly for the reasons you've said. The biggest clubs in the country, where football, as we know it, started and mattered. 58 titles between the 4 clubs. And so, and look, obvious rivalries between the cities, between the clubs. So to put that aside, especially when there's such a big match at the weekend, come together, hold banners, protest, come on things like this, shows how much it means to us where football's headed, which is in the wrong direction. Me and Nick have been talking away, walking down here to do this show. I've got a son now who is fully engaged, finally, thanks Gareth, into the football. He wants to go, his mates go, he goes with his mates, and not me now at times, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I want football to be affordable for him and his mates. I want them to be able to go. And it seems to me that across the league, there's a race to get the richest fans in the ground. And, last season, every club bar Crystal Palace put the prices up.
Yeah.
If we let them, if we don't say anything, if we apathetically let it all happen around us, they will just keep doing it. And every red, every blue, every Man City fan, every Man United fan will know what we call good reds who've dropped off because they can't afford it anymore. Because every year, when it comes to renewing season tickets or when it comes to thinking about going the match, people will look at the finances and say, it's just too much to justify.
The thing that struck me, Nick, with the price increases last round was it was very easy to imagine that the executives had all got together and had a chat and said, well, if you do it, will you do it? You do it, you do it. If you do it, you're going to do it. I'm going because if we all do it, then we can all have our arguments at once. And this is why it's so important, isn't it? That fans come together, do the flip side, to stand together and go, well, they've had their meeting. Well, we've got to have ours in public, but we're going to have ours in public and have our say.
Yeah. Do you know what? There's a growing sense, and we've talked about this with various other football supporter groups through the FSA or things. It may not be factual, but there's a sense that the CEOs are talking to each other. Well, we know there's a CEOs meeting every month, every couple of months, something like that.
Well, they dreamt up a European Super League. So, someone's talking to someone.
So much you could say about that. But and that was the last real life, the last example of fans coming together on the spur of the moment. Within 48 hours, dropped.
Exactly.
What power have we got? Massive, untapped, untouched. If we can get along. And that's the hard thing. But there is this sense that the CEOs and or other slightly more junior, senior staff members at all of our clubs, for us it's, Ferran Soriano is obviously the CEO, but then you've got Raul de Vries, you've got all these various people who are willing to squeeze the aspect of the business, because we have to call it the business, that can we can least absorb these costs. We're normal people. 95% of us, 99%, whatever. We're normal people, normal fans, normal jobs, normal lives. We can blare on about cost of living and all of that sort of stuff. It's just general poverty is increasing. Wages have stagnated in this country for 20 odd years. If we, get immediately into all the issues right now, it's above inflationary ticket price increases for 20, 30, post 92, of course. Since the inception of the Premier League. But there's this sense that they're talking to each other, that certain at City we've experienced, and this is something like 12 out of the last 14 seasons we've had price increases at City. Yeah. General admission, but season ticket, because I'm a season ticket holder, I've been all my life. Thanks, Dad. Actually, no thanks. Yeah, we're quite good at the moment. I don't know if you knew. Sorry. I'll get that in. And you know what? It's warmer in here than it was in Lime Street, so I'll take this off and you won't see any more blue now. It's death by 1,000 cuts. That's what they're doing. It's the drip, drip, drip little effects. And it's not just us. It's not just... And you guys had a bit of a price freeze for a few years, didn't you? Yeah. United had a price freeze for nearly 10 years, something like that. But then, bam, back with a vengeance. It's...
And let's just do it, Gareth, as I said before. Back feeling coordinated. This is the thing about it. For me, that's the sort of the main part of this. But also in a way that, therefore, to me, just feels... it's oddly anti-competition. And what I mean by that is, well, if that line's going up for all the businesses who are meant to be in competition with each other, then if they all agree to freeze that line at the same rate, for me, this shouldn't even just be... The £30 cap on away tickets was absolutely brilliant. Yeah. It's worked really, really well. People pushed for 20s plenty. The 30 became the compromise position. Yes. It's been there, it's held. If there was a similar cap, and you could even say, if you want to say, because you want to say that you're going to limit the competition aspect, you could even say maybe it could be a slightly higher cap for smaller stadia, because you'd allow the idea of, well, they should get a little bit more out the gate receipts and all that sort of stuff. But if there was a cap, for me, that's the smart thing. It's also the competition thing. If there's a cap that all sits in together, then no one gets an advantage, and then we all go from there. Exactly. But it feels like the absolute opposite. And, as Nick says, it feels like it's squeezing the people who can't afford it.
Exactly. And, why can't you put a fence around general admission and season ticket prices and then say anything else goes? Because, they've done that with the away tickets. And, fans who are involved with the Football Supporters Association have spoken to the Premier League this week, have spoken to Richard Masters this week, and did bring up ticketing. And I've seen some of the documents from it. And, I've looked back myself at what he's said in the past. And he says things like, well, clubs set the prices and we can't do anything about it, essentially. And it's like, well, okay, but there is an away cap there, which fans protested for, which fans pushed for. And you're right to highlight the 20s Plenty campaign. And if you remember as well, that started off as, quite a nice campaign, a soft campaign. But over time, when fans didn't see the progress they wanted to, we had people marching on the Premier League. We had people approaching sponsors of the Premier League, of clubs. And the pressure was put on a little bit. And when the pressure was put on a little bit, and when the sheer numbers involved, and funnily enough, when the cities of Liverpool and Manchester started to come together, they started to listen. So that's why this weekend is important, because this campaign, Stop Exploiting Loyalty, is fantastic. We've seen it take place in 19 of the 20 grounds already. This weekend, though, where Everton fans are bothering to go and meet United fans and do it, where City fans are going to come and meet us on a day of a huge game and do this.
Especially given our current form.
Yeah, but it's really significant, isn't it? And, we've put out a joint press release today about it all. And the take-up of the press release already tells you everything you want to know. Henry Winter's interested. Yeah. The BBC are interested. Dan Roan's interested.
Guardian Mail.
They're all interested because they're like, oh, hang on, that's interesting.
Well, it's major, isn't it? It's going to happen on Sunday, Nick. Yeah. You want City supporters, you want Liverpool supporters all to be together, all to be part of the protest. So what time is it? Where is it happening? And how do people get involved?
So there's two elements actually to the City one. Spirit Shankly reached out to us, which we're very grateful for. Us at MCFC Fans Foodbank, which is who I'm part of. But also to our fantastic Atmosphere group, much like Spion Cop, 1894, who do a lot of our in-stadium displays, tifos, all that sort of stuff, and they're fantastic people. And the proper fans, the fans who go to all these games, who we're representing, who we're speaking for, reached out to us, wants to bring our banner. We're bringing our Stop Exploiting Loyalty banner to Anfield. We're meeting by the food bank collection because it's a good cause. It's something that's important. Our governments aren't looking out for us, so we have to look out for each other in our communities, which is what we're doing. We took stand on the shoulders of giants very much with fan supporting food banks, Everton and Liverpool. We're meeting at the food bank collection, which I've been told now, because it's changed a few times, is the corner of the Cop in the Kenny Dalglish stand.
That's right. Rec Road.
Yeah, 3 p.m. For a banner display, a photo. Fantastic, great, really important. But also, we're going to try and display a banner across the divide of the away fans. And we need support from that, not just from Liverpool fans, but definitely from City fans, because that's difficult. But because it's difficult, it's impactful and it's meaningful. If that happens, if that comes off, what a statement would that say to the Premier League, to the 1.5 billion global viewers that I've been told that watch Premier League football.
Well, on the idea of it being impactful worldwide, Gareth, through Spirit of Shankly and certainly through the Anfield Wrap, when we were doing stuff, you and I, we've been around the world. Yeah. And one of the things that I always think is fascinating is that actually you can think that this sort of campaign, it only actually impact the people who very regularly are going through the gate. But when you go and speak to people abroad, they are absolutely in favour of caring for what these clubs are, for the way these clubs currently are. This is, and I think that's the bit that I actually think the Premier League overlords sort of miss. The energy and the momentum is on the side of the fans here, who the fans all the way around the world see as representative of them.
Yeah.
So when that banner comes out to that, and hopefully it works across that divide and goes out around the world, there'll be huge outpourings of support from the worldwide fan bases of both clubs.
Yeah, absolutely. Because what you said and what we found out when we went abroad is that people absolutely love the story of Liverpool Football Club, the culture, the heritage, the cop, the sound of the cop, the passion of the cop, the flags, the banners, the songs, the chants, just the feral power of it at times. That's what you're threatening by putting prices up over and over again. You're potentially introducing the idea that long-term generational supporters can't go themselves and can't take their sons and daughters, and so you're not passing on the spirit, if you like. And so therefore it becomes potentially just another entertainment product. So you end up with spectators, not supporters. You end up with people in there who they might love Liverpool, but they don't come every week, and they haven't got that collective power to.
Well, they've got something to join into.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
For me. It's about that. It's about I get love. We're in the Glenbook after the game, and people will come in from abroad and they'll say, "I love it," and they'll say, "I got carried away," and you're like, "Yeah, you got into it big time."
Yeah.
And that's what you want, and that's what they want as well. That's the key thing for me. That's what I think they're threatening. Yeah, that's what they're threatening. Go on.
So, and again, I don't want to speak for another group, but 1894 group, like I say, our Atmosphere group, they've told us. They've had people crowdfund for some of our displays who are in, obviously, you got America, Thailand, Syria, Lebanon, Japan, Syrian Blues back in 1894, given everything they've had in the past however long. Last year, one of the displays and one of the TAWs we put up in the Etihad was designed by a designer from Japan.
Yeah.
They buy exactly everything you've just said about the Clarke and Anfield and Liverpool. Exactly the same for us. Our history's going back to 1880 in South Manchester, at East and then South Manchester. And they love that. They love that authenticity. And there's a lot of potential dodgy xenophobic ground that people have got into, talking about tourists and day trippers to an extent. That's a complete different thing. We've all been football tourists at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I've been to Poland.
I've been to Barcelona,
to watch a third
been to
division
Real
game.
Madrid.
You better stadiums than I've been.
But
dodgy Silesian amphitheatres.
He's a more authentic football tourist. He's got you on that one, Robert. You're going to have to cop for it.
But that's what I mean. They buy into that. And then the second point, and this is the whole thing, we're not just talking about we want to stay in the stadiums. It's not just that. It's a little bit of that. But it's not just that. And the generational thing, which is so important, it is the atmosphere. We'd all be lying if we go to football. 10 years ago, how much better was atmospheres in every stadium across the country, especially in the top flights? Atmospheres have taken a kicking. The product of it, I hate, again, having to talk about like this, the product, we have to talk about the product. It's all business, the products, the assets, The product of the Premier League is diminishing when you don't have that legacy fans, the traditional, the working class support coming in. Atmospheres, it's no incident that groups like Spion Cup, 1894, there's other groups across the league, I can't quite recall, that call themselves atmosphere groups. Yeah, they've all cropped up in the past 10 years specifically. They wouldn't say they're about pricing and stuff like that. But if you're an atmosphere group, that's an immediate backlash, a reaction to what has been happening. That's what I think.
It's just with it then. What's happening at Old Trafford then as well, Gareth? Let's tell the full story. So, unfortunately, we haven't got anyone from the other lot here.
They're playing tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah. That's the problem. Manchester United are playing tonight, and Everton are Everton. But they are both these clubs are doing what they're doing. What's happening at Old Trafford?
Yeah, so Dave Kelly, who people might know from the fan support and Foodbanks, but also a huge blue, a great fella, and part of the Everton fan advisory board. So
why we do what we do.
Dave's rounding up some blues who are going to go and meet their Manchester United counterparts and hold up the banner, similar to what we're doing.
Trying to get across the divide as well. Is that possible at Old Trafford?
We don't know about
the United fans have got in. Similar to what we did a few weeks ago, we got in touch with our club, asking when we played Southampton, can we take this banner, please, kindly, into the ground? No response. United, the 1958 group, FC 58, I think that's what they're called. They have been very vocal there, who we're all liaising with. They've said publicly on their Twitter, so it's not private information, that they've reached out to their club over a week ago. Not heard anything back. So we don't know what's going on there, but they're trying. They're doing something. And again, why are we against our own clubs? We love our clubs.
And why are our clubs against us?
We've already had the stop exploiting loyalty banner in the ground. It's already been on the cop. It was there for Brighton. It was there for West Ham. And it'll be there again at the weekend. And look, to talk about relationships with club, well, the club's been fine with us about that. And what I had fed back to me was that it was viewed as freedom of speech, which is good.
Yeah.
And look, what I think about this as well is that boardrooms, perhaps the Premier League, people in power in football are looking at this and they're going, well, how many people is it? How many people are involved? And their greatest friend to putting up the prices over and over again is apathy. If people are shrugging their shoulders about it and walking by and not getting involved, then it'll continue. But if you show that there's strength in numbers, if you show that there's people who care about this, if you show that people are pointing at it and saying, no, this is wrong and you need to rethink it, then perhaps they will, because they have before.
Well, it also point out where it's happened, it's gone well. We talked about the away price cap, but also Brentford have just confirmed a few minutes ago, Nick, that they're going to look to be freezing again as well. Brentford have got really good relationships from boardroom level to the supporter groups. That bodes well. I think that there's someone listening there.
And this is it. It's so I was just, let's say, for full disclosure, I've just come back on a train from. Well, I've stopped off in Manchester on the way, but I've just come back from Peckham in London this morning. I've had the day of it. Because yesterday I was invited along with the Football Supporters Association to be part of a delegation speaking with the Premier League at their head offices. Richard Masters was there. We can't talk about the details of this yet till the minutes are published, which might be like 3 months' time. But ticketing was on the agenda. And we have to highlight when clubs make positive things. We realised that in that chart, really, most of the problems stem from dialogue, a lack of meaningful dialogue in general, but in some cases, lack of dialogue completely. I remember when Liverpool did put up the prices the other year, I think I might be right, and tell me if I'm wrong, but it was a shock to Spirit Shankly. I think they hadn't really engaged with you on it. They didn't know it was happening quite in that way.
It was sort of forced through regardless, despite the opposition. So whether you were going to, no matter what you said, they were just going to do it regardless.
Again, meaningful fan engagement. It's not just saying, okay, we've had a meeting for half an hour with some tea and biscuits with these guys from the fan advisory board. No, it's sitting, listening, explaining your reasons, because we want to hear your reasons. We are just in a week now where the Premier League TV revenue deal has gone up again, as it does every other year, by 17% to £12.25 billion. I can't even quantify that level of money. And that's getting split across all our clubs. Again, like you said, it's universal. You try to tell me why you have to put our ticket up by a few quid, even if it's
and
every
in the
year.
Same week, Manchester United have announced that tickets that go back to them, like season ticket holders that can't attend, therefore a ticket's available. No concessions, £66, whoever you are. Whether you're a child, whether you're a pensioner.
And also just £66, I hasten to add. £66?
Which is 20 quid more than normal. Just bang.
Yeah.
No consultation, bang, have that. And there's stuff like this going on everywhere. We all three of us have mentioned the away cap. This week, Kieran Maguire's talked about on the Price of Football pod that he's got information, or he knows that there are big London clubs, is the word he used, or the phrase he used. Yeah, I think I can guess. Big London clubs are looking to now scrap that. They want to get rid of that cap. And so it's coming from absolutely every direction at the moment. And it does feel a little bit like they're all testing the water. How much power have fans got? Do fans care? All these supporter groups, are they representative? Will people come out and protest? Will they moan? Or will they accept it and carry on going? And so this is why, really, people do need to turn up to these things to show the strength in numbers.
Okay. You looking forward to the game?
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to the game?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Less convincing?
Nah. Do you know what it is? This whole little period, and that's what I'm going to refer to it as a period, it's refreshing. It's nice.
Nice not to win for 6 games.
It's nice not to win every week. Do you know what I mean? No, it's... when we play United, I feel sick the day before. I feel physically sick. I don't want to be in the ground. I don't want to see them. I don't want to look at them warming up. I don't want to see their fans. I don't want to hear them. You don't hear them much anyway, but we're not going to get into that too much. But
we're all friends across the divide. I think you'll find today.
This weekend, yeah.
This weekend, sorry. Yeah, this weekend. Well, let's see how it goes. No, but I don't have that with Liverpool quite so much. I know there's been a lot of animosity in the past few years, which I think is I'm not a fan of at all. Haters on the pitch, and you can shout whatever, but I don't like this, and it's happened on both sides. You talk about aggressive bus welcomes. We were speaking this week about this action, what we're going to do on Sunday, standing side by side, and then some no-mark on Twitter has put out a dodgy typo-filled graphic saying let's give City a hostile welcome. Turns out he's not even going the game. These are the kind of people that we're having to, go against. And don't get wrong, hatred, vile on the pitch and in the stands to an extent, obviously. But we all experience the same issues. And this is what... I've only been involved in the FSA or whatever this past year or so, despite doing the Foodbanks for nearly 5 years now. I've realised, my God, we are so blinkered in our own experience of our own club. We just don't chat to each other. We don't chat to each other. This tribalism, because it is, that's it. It's pure tribalism, manufactured a lot by the TV companies and other media outlets. It holds us back. We are in charge of our own destiny, without getting to philosophical about it. Or we can make these changes. 2020 campaign, European Super League, much more. We're powerful, and we need to clock it.
I agree with all of that. And how are you going to get on this weekend?
Yeah, I knew you were
I mean, it was quite the rallying cry, and I was with you every step of the way, and I just thought, hang on, how are you going to get on this weekend?
What about the match, lads?
You've been in this game too long. Well, Edison's fit, isn't he? So
Haaland's fit.
That's all we need. But yeah, been a lot of use him, hasn't he? Lately. Oh no, he's got 2 goals the other day. What am I talking about?
All right,
I'm going there for the experience.
Going there for the experience.
Yeah.
Are you enjoy? I mean, it's fantastic at the minute, isn't it?
We've been brilliant, haven't we? It was absolutely superb against Madrid the other night. I went down to Southampton as well, and not all of that 90 minutes was enjoyable, but certainly the outcome was.
Yeah.
And I just think, look, playing City, I can't come on here and be cocky about it.
Absolutely not. No interest in that whatsoever.
Are you sure?
No. You know yourself that you've got a good side. You know yourself what the track record is of winning things. You know what manager you've got. You know what striker you've got. You know what squad you've got. So I'm not going to come on here and say, look, we could get beat quite easily.
Yep,
it could be a draw quite easily. But I feel like we've got a chance. I feel like we don't need to fear them. I would say that. But I don't think we should fear anyone. And that's what I loved about Real Madrid the other night. You've got Curtis Jones cutting it with superstars and playing better than superstars, and I absolutely love that. You've got Conor Bradley, who unfortunately looks like he's now picked up hamstring, but him smashing into Mbappe is the best thing I've seen all season. And so Slot, whatever he's doing to them, whatever he's saying to them, the mood he's got in the camp, I don't think they fear anyone. And they won't fear this lot.
I watched your highlights coming in on the train today, and you know what? That 1-2 with McAllister and Bradley, that was fantastic. You're telling me he's got a hamstring or not, right? That's one thing I've checked.
But it just means strength back, doesn't it?
7-8. You should have won 7-8-0 that game. I'm terrified. In a way, I'm terrified.
Well, let's.
I always hate Sunday kickoffs anyway, so it's.
Let's all see. 3:00 to meet if you want to be part of displaying the banner. If you're around as it's trying to get passed around the divide, if you're around, if you can be as supportive as you can, if you see it in the ground, take pictures, share it, push it all the way. If you see it abroad, you see it in your supporters club, take pictures on the telly, put it out under your supporters club banner as well. Every bit of social that you can, because every bit helps from wherever you are on the globe. Every little bit helps, because if you're showing that you're seeing it and you're supporting it, more and more people will take notice. Thank you very much to Nick. Thank you very much to Gareth. More of this kind of thing, I suspect.